every day from East Pennsboro Area High School, bringing you the latest in announcements, sports, and weather. Keeping you informed, inspired, and connected. A student-led production of EP Media. This is EPTV Live.
Good morning, East Pennsboro High School. Today's Friday, September 5th, Cycle Day 5, and this is EPTV Live.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, we really can't. Well, do we just start talking?
There's a quiz bowl meeting Monday, September 8th in Flex, room 125 with Miss Murray. If you can't attend, see Miss Murray.
Seniors, it's time to talk about graduation. Joel Stins will be here today to meet with our seniors during WIN period in the auditorium. Attention college-bound athletes. Mr. Bolin will be hosting an NCAA credit workshop starting September 10th. Please sign up using the form posted on the school counseling Google Classroom. The first 4 sessions are open to any seniors only, with more dates to be added for other graduation classes. Sign up at least a day before the session.
The college rep visits in the next few months. You can see it on Naviance for juniors and seniors. Visits will take place during WIN and limited to the first 10 students to sign up. Sign up in Naviance if you are interested in hearing what these colleges have to offer.
To Omar for weather and sports.
All right. Hello, everyone. I guess we're here. It's finally Friday. 3 weeks of school done. Let's just get this over with. So, weather. Today it's going to be sunny with a high of 84, and the next 2 days are likely to be rainy with highs of 77 and 72, respectively. And as for sports, girls varsity field hockey is versing against Greencastle home at 5 p.m., and boys varsity football is going to be versing Milton Hershey at 7 p.m. away. That is all the sports I have for you today, and welcome, Dr. Bianchi.
Everybody, good morning. Please bear with me. As you may have heard on the PA, swallowed a piece of breakfast that went down the wrong pipe. So this is going to be a little clunky, but we will be okay. I'm going to come in and out over this next 30 minutes or so. We're going to do a couple activities, explain a couple things about what we're doing here this morning. And the purpose of this Friday morning period, if all students could access their Chromebooks at this time. And if you log into your email, there is a survey there. It's the same survey, though one went to 11 and 12. The same one, but a different copy, went to 9 and 10. We'll use this time throughout the year as necessary, sporadically for this type of school-wide purpose, administrative purpose, clerical purpose. We'll use the Friday morning. We've designated it and kind of dubbed it homeroom last year solely because it's what it is labeled in sapphire, and I'll explain that a little bit more in just a second. But if you look at that survey, which will only take us a few minutes, this is a student survey of only high school students that is done every 3 to 5 years or so as a part of every school district's effort to draft and update what is called a comprehensive plan. usually a committee, what they dub a steering committee of a variety of, we'll call them stakeholders, meaning students, school employees, parents, and community members, formed this steering committee in an effort to draft a pretty comprehensive plan which helps to steer and guide school districts' decisions for the next 3 to 5 years. Every school district, over 500 of them in Pennsylvania, need to do this and submit it to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania Department of Education. So that's just a little bit of the background of this. And this iteration is asking you for feedback, honestly, on things you don't think about actively as you go about your day. But when you read those questions, can you think about if the themes are present in your school day or in your school? So for example, a few years ago, this district shifted its mission statement, which every school has some semblance of, to, quote, know each student's name, face, and personal story in order to deliver meaningful educational experiences. I am not sure in the manner that that statement was created. I was not here at East Pennsboro at that time. It would seem to me that that is a strong ethic of our superintendent, Dr. Robinson. For example, in his first 3 years here in the district, and it will continue, he has met each year with every single 12th grader, one-on-one, about 10 minutes, some questions, which has allowed him on the ground level to get to know not just students individually, but how to influence education here in East Pennsboro. 9th graders right now may remember meeting with him last year as 8th graders, so he's also doing that. How satisfied are you? Do you feel that? Do you see that? And think a little deeply about it. Your first response will probably be, but think about it a little bit. Most districts and organizations also have a vision statement. Now these statements, can be ambiguous, or shall I say, conflated. Some organizations, some schools, what they consider to be their mission, others might consider to be their vision. So we won't get into all of that. But our vision, forward thinking, several years ago was updated to say, as a result of providing meaningful educational experiences, East Pennsboro Area School District will be a source of pride and a cornerstone in the community. Sounds great. Each individual word can be subjective. Like, what does meaningful mean? What does cornerstone mean? What does educational experiences mean? So very generally, do you feel that? Do you see that? Do you hear that? For whatever it means to you. And if you don't, and honestly, if you don't, please then say why, or that you don't understand what that means. Similar approach with the core values. Same thing with a primary goal being focus on highly effective teaching and learning that supports academic growth. the goal of increasing community and stakeholder engagement to sustain positive development of the culture and morale, support the varying needs of our students and the diversity that exists among our community and our students. I'm going to pause here for a few minutes, 3 to 5 minutes. The EPTV will go to a pause screen as well, and I'll be back in a few minutes to explain a little bit more about what we're after here. All right. Welcome back, everybody. Hopefully you've completed that survey thoroughly, and if you're not done, you can certainly continue to do so. Really do appreciate that. Your feedback is warranted anytime. Not just the district, but the school solicits feedback from its students and staff. Truly, it is used and warranted and utilized. And I've got a page and a half of examples here that if I get to, I'll share a little bit about what was surveyed last spring. I will not pretend to be a historian here of East Pennsboro Area High School, far from it, in just my first couple years. What I'll try to do here in the next couple minutes is capture what I understand to be some recent history and logic that has led to where we are right now, quite literally, in this character-strong Naviance homeroom period. So if you're an upperclassman, you remember that this period used to be in the middle of the day on Thursday for about 35 minutes, which led right into about a 40-minute, what we called advisory period. And this big, I'll call it blob in the middle of the day, where the first part of it was supposed to be a lesson on character development. And the rest of the period was that advisory period, mostly like a study hall. In an effort to emphasize the importance of the character development lessons, we experimented and put it at a different time of the week and day. And when we asked for feedback, it was pretty popular. I don't know if this will be our model going forward after this year. It might, and I really think these supplemental parts of our school day set us up nicely for a year of tinkering. And the experiments that we do, that will be slight, that are well received and productive, we'll do more of them. If they're not productive, not well received, we'll do less of them to shape what we do going forward incrementally. But that Friday morning time slot that we reside in now, this soft start to the day, and there's a lot of good brain science that talks about that soft landing into the school or the work day, it is a little bit of elementary based, was intended to designate that this is character development time. One Friday per month, usually the last, we had always dubbed Naviance Day. Naviance is merely a platform. It's a website. It's a hub for post-high school communication, for transcripts, for letters of recommendation. What we do in that period is authored by the counselors, but not by their choice. The state of Pennsylvania about 10 years ago, in an effort to tell the public that its high school graduates from over 500 public schools are ready for life, created a set of career education and work standards that actually you have been doing work to compile for a portfolio since elementary school. Our high school's version of this fulfillment has always been done once a month in this Naviance period. We're not going to do that after this year. We're going to try to design good activities and embed them into the curriculum around the program throughout your 4 years or across disciplines to make them more authentic and frankly make better use of time. The counselors support this as well and appreciate their efforts. In an effort to emphasize character development in a different segment of time based on feedback, that was moderately the case. Staff and students both said that. But what came through pretty clearly, and character strong, the curriculum, the subscribed curriculum and the lessons, which are good, frankly. They're great. Some things just get a bad rap because it's easy to do so. One thing that came through loud and clear is that they are repetitive, which isn't a bad thing. We need to repeat and have multiple exposures to topics. But they, I think, ran their course. It started about 5 years ago by a previous administration, district administration's effort to develop character in young people. Nobody would say that that is a bad thing, though what is good character leads to be defined. Our school defined character in 6 words. You just took a survey as a referendum on them. Growth mindset, integrity, caring, collaboration, mindfulness, and perseverance. Nobody would disagree with those. though everybody might define those a little differently. That you will see depicted in our lobby with 6 different colors, and it looks like a graduate with a cap on his or her head. It is depicted like that because in the region, about 15 years ago, this phrase, portrait of a graduate, started to emerge. So our school district merged the 6 facets of good character with what we want students to be like during and after high school into that graphic representation of a graduate. And these weekly, one of the mechanisms to deliver and foster students of good character was in these character strong lessons. They were also in Wacky Wednesday questions to try to engage students in a fun way, a dialogic way every Wednesday. Every Friday at that time, there were also journal reflections done in each room. That was also done coming out of the COVID era as a mechanism of intervention if someone needed, as we lived through that couple years in the era of the pandemic. So we did move this time to the Friday morning, but this year in that spirit of tinkering, it will accomplish a few ends. Yes, roughly once a month we'll still do a Naviance lesson for the last year, but we're going to rotate some themes in those other Fridays and not necessarily call it a character development lesson, not necessarily call it a PBIS, positive behavior intervention and supports lesson, but we will kind of do all of the above and try to make the most meaning out of this period that we possibly can. It also came loud and clear that rather than a subscribed program, Character Strong, if we in-house create ideas, concepts, messages, mini lessons, that would be more productive. So really appreciate the teachers and some students who have volunteered to put some of those together in a lighthearted, fun way, but messages that support what we're really trying to do here in the academic program. And also continue to try to infuse little by little too these ideas that the Link crew has brought to us as well, to foster good transition to high school from 8th grade to 9th grade, to develop student leadership, and to do so with responsibility and student mentorship. We have a few minutes, and I'm almost done here with the explaining. I hope enough people are still listening. Anybody in the library, raise your hand if you're still listening. We've got about 50-50, a little over 50-50. That's all right. The other supplemental part of our school day we've dubbed the WIN period. In previous years that have been called AP, advisory period, activity period. I think it was originally called East Penn period. Also want to drive in purpose as much as possible into that period. I'm not going to talk too much about the WIN period today. We'll start to do that next week in the following week. But when you add up in a normal calendar 5-day week, these Friday morning and the WIN period is about 9% of our time together. So I was originally thinking that it's relatively minimal. It supports the program and the coursework, but almost 10% is quite sizable, and we need to do our best to maximize that time. We'll start talking about how we'll do that in the WIN period next week, but we will continue Monday when we return, still going to that homeroom location for the next week or so. Probably the biggest change that we want to infuse is the addition of activities during the WIN period, physical activities, creative outlet activities, social activities in lieu of a study hall. And we'll talk more about that next week, though teachers today will receive a survey if they're interested in hosting an activity. According to last year's data in April, the vast majority are, but there are some wrinkles and some things to figure out there. My last point before I adjourn is on this idea of feedback and input, these surveys and communication, which right now is one way. It's directional, it's me to you, but communication is cyclical. I'm not always the best listener, and I always need to strive to be. Now think about this personalization approach in our school district, authored by our superintendent as well. We are going to engage this year in a more formal and purposeful way, and I'll couch it as student government. What does student government mean? I think for the most part, and here initially, it means communicating. It means communicating. It means creating more regular and routine and formal ways for the adults and students to communicate and talk about their school. We'll do so in a couple different entities, if you will, which is still coalescing. I could envision something that we dub like the Executive Council or the Cabinet. I could see something evolving with the Student Council, the Interclub Council, which is a greater representation of all students and each club. Who has seats on those entities is yet to be determined. I think we're almost there, but again, we're just going to tinker. In the short term, the class officer advisors have and will continue to communicate on election and election results that we hope to be really in place within 2 weeks. And we're going to make those positions, not that they weren't purposeful, I would never say that, but maybe make them more concrete and personal. Lost my train of thought there. Mr. Hanson, how much time we've got?
It is almost 8 o'clock.
There you go. And remember, fewer and fewer people are listening anyway. So again, more information to come, but students have great ideas. And this is your high school career. When you look back at your yearbooks that you purchase, plug there for purchasing the yearbook, you will remember all of those captured memories, which do include the teachers and the adults here. We also want to mimic and replicate how governance is done and allow you the opportunity to practice when you go off into the world, honestly, self-government and how we all operate within existing structures and how we utilize them or adapt them and tailor them to needs or changing times. So I'm actually really excited about that. Just a couple quick notes here before we adjourn. Basic announcements. Seniors during wind period have their first graduation meeting, which is fantastic already. Opportunity to hear from the Jostens Company about purchasing caps, gowns, and announcements and other items. Seniors have an email, and the parents got a Blackboard message yesterday about what if I have this, what if I have that, senior privilege this, internship co-op that. Check your email for more details there. In terms of lunch, the cafeteria, we're closing that gate. We need everybody in first period at 7:30. We need butts in seats, not walking in the building. So we're going to close breakfast at 7:26. Everybody does have an opportunity to get here at that time. Our second lunch is a little too big. It's not bad, but it's a little too big. So we shifted a couple classes around to accommodate that. I would love to open the auxiliary gym every day, and I do want to, but we need to treat it. We need to just kind of temper and tamp down maybe our competitiveness a little bit. We've talked to some groups. We'll think about opening that today. We do want to get to a place where we're opening that any day, which is the signal that we will do whatever for you that you allow us to do for yourselves. And because I'm running short on time, I won't say much more, but really appreciate devices being away, really appreciate headphones being away. These are mine. I bought these big ones because I lose the little AirPods, and I use these every day, but you never see me in school. So we don't want them like this, and we don't want them like this. We want them away. Okay, really appreciate that. I think we're doing a good job, and we'll keep reiterating these positive messages at certain intervals, mostly Friday morning, so we're not cutting into class time throughout the next couple weeks, and then more sporadically throughout the year. I want to recede here into the background and let the students and teachers do the good work of East Pennsboro. So have a great day. Look at